Good morning and welcome to Living Local 15. I'm your host, Jessica Williams. Thank you so much for joining me today. It's Monday, so you already know it's time we kick it off with some motivation. Here's the quote. Encouraging someone to be entirely themselves is the loudest way to love them. Real love, whether it's between family, friends, or partners, isn't about changing someone to fit our expectations. It's about giving them the freedom to be fully themselves and showing them that they're accepted just the way that they are. When you encourage someone to be authentic, to speak their truth, express their personality, and live without fear of judgment, you're showing love in one of the most powerful ways. You're saying, hey, I see you, and you are enough just the way you are. So whether it's a sibling discovering who they are, a friend navigating a tough season, or a partner growing into their purpose, be the kind of person who makes others feel safe to be real. In every relationship, that kind of encouragement creates deeper trust, stronger bonds, and lasting connections. Now on to the show. First up, I am taking you inside of Glenbrook Dodge to learn all about this locally owned dealership. We'll also take a peek at their options of Jeep, Ram, Dodge, and Chrysler cars, including their new EV Charger. Then it's Wealth Wednesday with Foster Financial, and we are continuing our discussion about stock market corrections and the investment opportunities that lie within. Are you ready? Let's get started.
Fashion, food, and fun. You're watching Living Local 15 with your host, Jessica Williams.
This segment sponsored by the Better Business Bureau. If you're in the market for a new vehicle, why not shop locally owned? I am outside of Glenbrook, Ram, Dodge, Jeep, and Chrysler, and they have such an array of options inside of their showroom. Today, I'm going to take you on the inside, take a peek around, and I'm also going to hop into their new electric vehicle. Are you ready? Let's get started. Joining me now is Casey Shirey, who is a partner and owner here at Dodge. Hello.
Hey, how are you? I'm good.
Good. Okay, so I know that you all have so much stuff happening right now. I mean, spring is here, and it's a perfect time for people to come out and start shopping and browsing outside with the really good weather for cars.
Yeah.
So let's start off by just learning more just about the background and the history of this establishment. Give me the rundown.
Well, that's a great question, and thank you. So this establishment was founded in 1979 by Douglas McKibben. He's an Indiana native. He's been here his whole life. He founded in 1979, and through the tough times of Chrysler at the time, through today, he's just been a very big staple of the community, and he takes a lot of pride in what we do over here.
Yeah, and so why do you feel it's so important to be locally owned and be a native here in Indiana?
Well, I think for various reasons, but I think the primary reason is to be able to, your community is your family, right? And they support you, so you support them back. And in doing that, we're so involved in the community and all the different programs, such as the Boys and Girls Club and Big Brothers Big Sisters and the Veterans Association of America. And there's just a lot of different organizations that we like to give back to, as well as our customers.
Exactly, and you also have just seen the need that people have for a variety of different cars, so I'm sure that you're changing out your options and selections on the floor. I have to tell you, I used to own a Dodge Stratus once before. I don't think y'all have those anymore.
No, we sure don't. I wish we did.
Right,
yeah.
But you have so many awesome cars that we're standing in front of, so kind of tell me some of the newer models that's coming out this year.
Yeah, well, as you know, the electric vehicles has been a big push. So you'll see behind us here, we have a couple of different variations of the new Dodge Charger, as well as the Wagoneer S. So those are the two biggest models that are coming out right now. There's some other stuff that's not being disclosed publicly, but there's some stuff in the works that I think is going to be exciting for the consumers.
Give us a little tease.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about the EV vehicles or the electric vehicles for a second, because I know that there's fully EV and then there's hybrid. So what are these?
That's a great question. And you know your cars. That's great. These are fully electric. These are considered BEV vehicles, battery electric vehicles. They're 100% electric. Yeah.
Wow, well, that's exciting. I mean, the fact that we can help with, with the environment, but then also just have more convenience when it comes to filling the car, considering gas prices are crazy. So it's a good investment, right?
It's a great investment. It's not for everyone though,
Yeah.
right? It's a very niche person. But I think I always tell all my customers and friends and family who ask me, you have to drive one to really understand, right? Because a lot of people are kind of, because it's like when we went from horse and carriage to the vehicle, it's hard to transition from the horse and buggy to the car, right? And now it's the kind of same transition, getting out of a gas engine into a battery engine,
Right.
Or battery motor, I should say. But until you drive one to really experience and understand what it is, you should really educate yourself before you make that decision and completely shut it out.
Yeah, that's true. And we're standing in this beautiful showroom, and I want to walk around and kind of take a closer look at some of the vehicles. But before we do that, I have to talk about the massive flag that's on display outside of this building that everyone can see when they drive up. I hear that there's history behind it. What is it?
Our flag is we cherish that flag so much. We're very proud of that flag. Mr. McKibben, he put that up. It went up in October of 2001. So we all remember what happened September 11th.
Yeah.
But prior to that, he'd already had it in the works, all the engineering and the design and the manufacturing of the flag. So it just kind of went up in October of 2001, and for a period of time, that was actually, this is a fun stat. That was the largest year-round free flying flag in the world.
In the world?
When it was erected in 2001. Each star is 2 foot tall, and each stripe's 3 foot tall.
It doesn't even look that big. I mean, it looks massive and beautiful standing under it, but whoa. And really, I mean, I think I could possibly say it's the largest flag in Indiana, at least.
I think that's a fair statement, yes.
Right. Okay, so let's walk around a bit.
Okay, let's do it.
See the cars.
Yeah, can't wait.
Okay, Casey, I see so many different options behind us, and of course people can kind of choose what works best for them and their family size. Okay, so we have this beautiful van here.
Yeah.
And I see the interior, which is really different.
It is. This is the Chrysler Pacifica, as you note here, which is, by the way, so the Chrysler minivan was Dodge in the 80s. But they are the originators of the minivan. In 1984 was when the very first minivan was actually designed and built by Chrysler. So that's another cool fact about our company.
Okay.
So this is the Chrysler minivan, the Chrysler Pacifica, the Pinnacle Edition. So why do they call it the Pinnacle? Well, because it's the best of all vehicles, right?
The best.
You notice all the cross-stitch interior.
Nice.
Carries over with the white piping to offset the caramel interior there. The full panoramic sunroof. Who wouldn't want to drive a van like this, right?
That's a pretty fly minivan, I must say. Okay, and then this beauty, wow, this is huge. What is this?
This is the all-new Jeep Grand Wagoneer. So this vehicle came out just a couple of years ago, actually. It was originally built in the 80s and 90s, and then they stopped making the vehicle, and then it was so nostalgic and everybody wanted it back, so they brought it back.
It's nice.
It's
huge.
It's huge, isn't it? And it's just as luxurious. So you can get this thing modeled up or modeled down. It's a vehicle configuration for everyone's budget, which is the good thing about the Jeeps is they really accommodate everyone's needs and desires. So another cool fact about this vehicle is that this does come equipped with the V6 twin turbo. But sometimes people get scared about a car being this large and having a V6 motor in it. Well, this V6, known as a Hurricane engine, actually packs 510 horsepower in a V6 engine.
Wow. All right. And then, of course, this one over here, man, this is the electric vehicle that I have got to slide into and give it a little start here. What did I do, Casey?
Well, you think you just surprised yourself, right?
Right.
You just noticed that you got into an electric vehicle that's not supposed to make any noise because there's no combustion engine and it roared at you.
Yes.
So, of course, Dodge being a muscle brand, they took all the things into consideration when they developed the electric vehicle, and they didn't stop at the sound. So the enthusiasts who drive muscle cars want to hear that sound of a muscle, right?
Yeah.
So they got kind of creative and they put a subwoofer in the back of the vehicle, and it actually accelerates. As you accelerate, so does the sound. And upon startup, that's what you just heard.
And it happens every time.
You can turn it off, but yes, every time. Yeah.
Someone can hear you coming. I like it.
Yeah.
I mean, it says I'm ready to drive.
You won't find another electric vehicle in the market presently that will have that same effect.
Smooth. And so this is the Charger, and you say that the other two are no longer. So
Well,
it's replaced now.
Correct. Well, the Challenger is no longer, but now the Charger has a 2-door and a 4-door configuration.
Oh.
Prior, it was just a 4-door, but they branded it to be the Chargers is going to be both configurations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so lastly, I hear that you have a special showroom that's happening, and I would love to take a sneak peek.
Let's do it.
All right. All right, Casey, so we're over in your special Jeep showroom. What's the official name?
That's right. Well, it's Glenbrook Jeep.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty simple.
No, but
right?
there's a cafe name.
Well, this is our standalone Jeep showroom. We have a cafe. We have a cafe in our Jeep showroom.
Okay.
Right, and a concierge lounge for as your vehicles getting serviced. But we have the only standalone Jeep showroom in Northeast Indiana. We're pretty proud of that.
Oh, this is so awesome.
Yeah.
Like, so people can walk over, it's right next to your building, and they can specifically see Jeeps, shop for Jeeps. You say shop for accessories?
Yeah, that's right. Well, it's actually attached to our service department. So as your vehicle's getting serviced, if you're getting an oil change or any maintenance on your vehicle, you can actually just head up front, check out our Jeep lounge, our Jeep showroom.
Yes.
Make yourself at home. It will be full of Jeeps. It's gonna be pretty excited about that, and you'll be able to customize. We all know Jeep enthusiasts like to customize their Jeep and make them their own. We're gonna have a full center right here. You'll be able to hand select all of your very unique accessories to you and customize your Jeep however you want it.
I love that.
Yeah, we're so excited for it.
So it is different. And then, so what's happening right now with Jeep? I know that there's so many different versions of a Jeep that people are used to over the years. I love this little signage that you have that kind of notates the history.
Yeah.
But right now, what's a popular Jeep?
Well, I got to tell you, the Wranglers, the Gladiators are always going to be the go-to because who doesn't like to take their top off in the summertime, let the wind blow through their hair, right? So that's always been it's been a hot vehicle for them. The Jeep Grand Cherokees, though, those are coming on hot, and they're leasing really well right now. So for a long time, we haven't been able to get a good payment on a lease. Now is the time to lease a Jeep because the payments are very good.
Yeah, exactly. And so now's the time to also start shopping for a car, right? So I know that people are trying to decide what they have going on for the summer. They're kind of ready to spend some money. So what's the process and step if someone is interested in learning more about your vehicles?
Well, that's a great question. And so because there's so much information available online right now, my suggestion would be go to my website, glenbrookdodge.com, and you'll be able to go on there and select a vehicle of your choice. You can actually buy it on your website in the comfort of your own home.
Yeah, that's good.
So you just configure your own deal. You can get a trade-in value on your vehicle. You can get your financing approved, and all you gotta do is come in to see us in the showroom, or we can deliver it to you. It's pretty simple.
That is good. Yeah, like you said, they can come to the showroom to see and kind of sit in the vehicles like I was able to do before, which is so great. Okay, so lastly, Casey, I want to ask you about being a part of the Better Business Bureau. So I know that you are a highly accredited A+ member, and that's a really big honor. So what does it mean to you to be acknowledged in that way from the Better Business Bureau?
Well, it means more than anything, actually. Our number one priority at Glenbrook Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is our customer satisfaction. So to be accredited as an A+ business means our customers are satisfied. And at any time, at any moment, if there's ever an issue, I get involved immediately and I take care of it. I want to make sure my customers are taken care of the way I'd want to be treated if I were out making a decision like this.
Right, exactly. And it's that trust thing, like you said, and they know that people have put those reviews out there and they have a good experience.
100%.
Yes, okay. Well, thank you so much, Casey, for showing me around today. I appreciate it.
My pleasure.
And if you would like more information about Glenbrook Dodge, Ram, Jeep, and Chrysler, well, I have their website listed below to check them out, and I'll see you after the break. This segment sponsored by the Better Business Bureau.
Living Local 15, proudly driven by the Kelly Automotive Group.
This segment sponsored by Foster Financial. Welcome to Money Monday with Foster Financial, where we provide you with holistic financial advice from Caleb Doan, the Vice President of Foster Financial. Good morning, Caleb.
Good morning.
Welcome back.
Thanks very much.
Yes. Okay. So we're continuing our conversation that we started on the last Money Monday, which was all about the market and the market corrections and how that can be beneficial to consumers. So kind of give me a highlight on what is a market correction, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, So I mean, a market correction is typically, a bad thing, right? It's a 10% drop from a recent high in the stock market.
Right.
So we never like to see the stock market go down, but of course that's part of investing. The stock market does not always go up. There's going to be those fluctuations. So I mean, as financial advisors, we take a look at that and say, all right, we know there are going to be periods where the market is dropping. Are there ways that we can benefit the clients in periods like that? And so we talked last time, I think, about non-qualified variable annuities, how sometimes it can give you an opportunity to maybe get out of those if they no longer fit in the financial plan. Today, what we'll talk about is another opportunity when the market drops, and that is providing an opportunity to diversify away from maybe a really highly concentrated stock position that somebody has. And so when the market drops, let's say that somebody has, bought a bunch of Apple stock, a few years ago and it's appreciated a lot. Maybe they feel like they can't sell out of it because they would have to pay a ton in capital gains taxes. Well, if the market drops, maybe it reduces the amount of capital gains that they would need to pay, and so it can provide an opportunity to reposition some of those assets.
Right. And one thing I love to highlight is just the fact that this is something that applies to most people. A lot of times when you hear stocks, it's like, oh, I'm not, savvy in trading and I don't, really know what the market's doing. But if you have a 401k, if you, have an IRA that has some type of investment, value in it, all those other retirement accounts are really impacted by what the stock does. Yeah, and we're seeing that right now in the current market, influx or deflux. Specifically, can we just pivot for a second and talk about like the impact of what's happening in the world, like with Tesla, for example. What's happening with Tesla, and Elon's stock is going down on that car. And a lot of people whose companies invested their 401ks in that stock are impacted. And they're like, wait, because I think it's a lot of federal employees. So can you kind of break down that scenario so people can understand tangibly how it connects?
Yeah, I mean, I think probably what, some of the reports, talking about how federal employees might have some positions in Tesla, a lot of times when people have positions in Tesla, it's more so related to like an index mutual fund or something that they're invested in, like the S&P 500, and of course Tesla is in the S&P 500. So I'd say it's relatively uncommon for somebody to have specific, direct Tesla stock in their 401k. Usually 401ks have really pared down investment options, and it's these bigger mutual funds. But if Tesla moves, then it moves the S&P 500, which people are invested in. So obviously it was a very wonderful thing for the last 10 years with Tesla going up really rapidly. So far year to date, Tesla has gone down a little bit, so it certainly impacts those stocks. But Tesla is another good example. If somebody has an after-tax brokerage account and they own a lot of Tesla stock and it's done great over the last 10 years, that's wonderful. Maybe it has a lot of capital gains on it. And so maybe they've been looking for a way, okay, how can I diversify away from this? I still like it as a company, but I don't want such a high percentage of my assets in Tesla. Year to date, if it's gone down, it could possibly be a good opportunity to reposition. And it doesn't mean we're selling out of it and going to cash, because then you're not able to take advantage of a potential recovery. It would mean selling out of a certain position and going into something else that we still think has the same ability to recover with the market, but now we're not solely tied to that one stock.
Okay, and when you say that people may find it risky, just if they have to pay, are you saying that because of the capital gain, which is something that is the amount of money that they receive as interest, right? Or like
the capital gain, that'd be the growth on what they're
on the money. So what they invested, what it is now, all that money in between is capital gain. They have to pay a fee on that, or they have to pay taxes on that if they transfer out of that stock option?
Yeah, in like an after-tax brokerage account, if they sell out of that position, it now becomes a realized capital gain. And a lot of people are in the 15% realized capital gain tax bracket. And so typically they have 15% on that.
Okay, so I think we talked about this before, but it's best for people to utilize or tap into that capital gain when they are at closer to retirement age because they're in a lower tax bracket that they're impacted?
It kind of depends. I mean, there are a lot of factors of when to sell out of a certain position. There's, diversification reasons. There's if just somebody needs the money, then it can be a good time to sell out of it, depending on what the stock has done, can kind of determine. But yeah, certainly if your tax bracket has changed, if you're in the 22% federal income tax bracket, your capital gains tax bracket is 15%.
Okay.
If you're in the 12% federal income tax bracket, your capital gains are zero, actually.
Ooh,
So if we
really?
know that somebody's going to be in the 12%, sometimes we wait until they're in that 12% bracket to realize capital gains so that they don't owe anything in taxes on that.
Okay, so what if someone is highly concentrated in stock? What should they do?
Yeah, I mean, of course, when the stock market is down, everyone wants to be more conservative or wishes that they were more conservative. If it's going up, they want to be more aggressive. So if somebody is highly concentrated in a stock, it's just a good idea to get a second opinion on it, take a look at it, and see how exposed you are to the movement of that one company. You could have a ton of money in a company like GE, 10 or 15 years ago, and it feels like it's great. But if that company then does poorly for the next 5 or 10 years, it can have a really big impact if you have a really high percentage of your assets in that one company. So it can always be a good idea to diversify, and that's where we can step in and help.
Okay, and then overall, when we're talking about the market correction, how can people actually save money during this market correction?
Yeah, it can be really avoiding some of those capital gains taxes. Obviously, freeing up a certain amount of a position now is slightly cheaper than it was at the beginning of the year if the stock market has gone down. But we want to be strategic with how we reposition that money. So that's how clients can save money overall, and then in the long term be more diversified too.
All right, awesome. Caleb, I learned so much from you.
Thanks for having me
Talking
on.
stock with Caleb.
There we go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And if you would like more information about Foster Financial, we'll have their website and their phone number listed below. You can contact them for a complimentary consultation. And I'll see you after the break. This segment sponsored by Foster Financial. Well, that's our show for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed it. And remember, you can always catch up on episodes and segments of Living Local 15 by going to WANE.com, downloading the WANE app, and also checking us out on YouTube. And I'll leave you with this. Encouraging someone to be entirely themselves is the loudest way to love them. I hope you have an amazing rest of your week, and I look forward to seeing you here tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Content segments during today's Living Local 15 were paid for by these sponsors.